So here's a view that you don't see very often. The tree is over there, which is where I normally am, as you've seen before. And so I thought I'd look at this view today and show you it, and how beautiful that setting is. I mean, it's perfection. It is actually perfection. Wonderful.
Meanwhile, the dissection of your social interaction over the past 2 years, and my social interaction, the dissection of, and what I mean by that is how we've been forced into this position of going in. I talked about this a year ago, going in after the whole lockdown procedure that was put in place. Slowly but surely we were hemmed into our homes and wherever to then go into ourselves. And then when we go into ourselves, I start looking at all these different parts of myself that need to be dissected, analysed. I need to be made aware of who I am and what essentially then comes out, from the ugly duckling situation, and we hope that we have this beautiful swan that comes out and goes, actually now I'm so much more spiritualized, so much more mindful, so much more aware of everything and everyone around me and everything inside me and how I interact with all of that, the me, the soul, the person I am within, the voice in my head, that internal dialogue. And then we start considering, or I start considering, like I have done today, about karma. And if that is a real thing, the effects to which, a bit like the butterfly wing and the beat that can create an earthquake over the other side of the world, you've heard this one before, but I do consider the actions, everything I do. The dropping the stone into the pool of water, I think about that one a lot, because I'm always the stone that's going into the water, and I think about those ripples. And therefore, of course, the analogy of that and the undertakings of certain circumstances and situations I find myself in, and how that affects everything else around me. And of course, the bad things that I do or have done, and how that affects me later on in the things that happen to me. So my conclusion really is that yes, karma is something that we are aware of. I don't feel that, I think karma is something that's led possibly by guilt in ourselves, and how we consider guilt to affect us. It's one thing feeling guilty, but it's what that does to us. The guilt of the mistakes that we've made, the choices that we've made that were inevitably wrong, that puts us into this state of guilt, and therefore then brings about a state of understanding it as karma, in the fact that we cause and effect, later something affects us because of the choice or the direction we took. So the conclusion from that is, be good to everyone. Turn the other cheek when things occur that really upset you and hurt you. Do your best. And of course, this is what we have to train in our children that come after us, the people that come, not necessarily our children, everyone, but those people that we need to assist into understanding what's going on in the world and how it can affect us individually and through social interaction, how we communicate. And of course, this leads me back to this whole process the last 2 years and how that has affected us, how it has infected, and then affected us in the way that we have to move forward as a people. A people, ladies and gentlemen, and whatever you are, aliens and others. So our social interaction is paramount. Above all other sorts of education, the social interaction, the communication. I've always said communication is key. A lot of us found that around. So how we communicate, and more importantly, what we do with that communication, what we learn from that communication.